Marvel's new hit event Civil War II focuses on Ulysses, a young Inhuman with the ability to see the future. He can't really control his visions though, so he was assigned a mentor, Karnak, to teach him, but he's a bit of an asshole. Hello and welcome to the premiere of Season 3 of the show with reviews. New set, new music, new bumper, new branding, everything. It's great. Today we're going to be talking about Civil War II Ulysses number 2, The Unbelievable Gwenpool number 5, and Supergirl number 1. First up is Civil War II Ulysses number 2, and honestly, it has been great so far. Honestly, it's what a tie-in should be. It gives us more information on stuff that's going on in the main event book, while not being necessary information. That thing that it's expanding upon here is Ulysses, and his training, his powers, how that all came to be, how he's able to control his stuff. He has a costume in later Civil War II issues, which I imagine is going to be drawn up in this tie-in series, and it's just really interesting so far. Like I said at the top of the show, Ulysses' mentor is Karnak, an Inhuman whose ability is to find the weak points in things and abuse them. So he's able to help Inhumans hone their powers by finding the weak points in them and letting them learn about them and fix them, essentially. The only problem is that Karnak is just a huge dick. If I'm reading the book correctly, it looks like Ewing is trying to get us to be on board with Karnak and see that Ulysses is just being stupid, and eventually he'll get on board with Karnak as we are supposed to be on board with him. But I just can't get on board. Obviously the things that Karnak is doing to Ulysses are insane, but a lot of the time before, we've seen masters and teachers like this use unconventional methods to, like, get the true potential out of their pupils. And it looks like that's what they're trying to do in this book. I'm not having any of it. We haven't had any redeeming qualities in Karnak yet, and even when I thought we were gonna get some, they were immediately taken away from us. So I don't know what they're doing. Still, it's a great book. I'm just worried that Ewing is trying to pull my emotions one way, and I'm just going the complete opposite. Next up is Supergirl number 1, and I am glad to say that this was also very good. I read the Rebirth issue and loved it, and I am glad to see that the greatness of that continues on into its first actual issue. I don't know a lot about Supergirl's character, but I do know enough to be engaged in this story, and what I'm getting from it, it looks like it's going to be a nice character analysis of her, and it's especially interesting since I think she's younger than she normally is in continuity, especially since I don't think she was introduced in the New 52, or maybe she was. I know she had a series, but in the Rebirth issue, she was back or lost her powers or something. I don't know the status quo of Supergirl. The point is, this is a fun book so far. So they just barely touched on the villain in this issue. He was just kind of a last panel tease, and I'm a bit worried about him. He just seems kind of overplayed the concept of what they're going with. He's supposedly Kara's dad, or someone from Krypton, and he's like a cyborg or whatever. I don't know, I'm not too interested in it, but it's the first issue, so we'll see how it plays out. One thing I did want to talk about is Kara overheard someone saying that she has an accent, and that makes sense since she's from Krypton and she grew up there longer than Superman did, but what is the accent? Like, it's obviously Kryptonian, but what does it sound like? I'm assuming, as is the case with most fictional accents, that it's just some English offshoot. It just sounds similar to an English accent. I don't know. And lastly, the art is super gorgeous here. It's very stylized and just works really well for the book and the tone and everything that's going on here. I highly recommend this title as a whole. And finally is The Unbelievable Gwenpool number 5, and this was so good. I know we have a theme of just great books this week, but honestly, this was super good. I've loved this series since issue 1, and it just keeps getting better. The first arc was about Gwen getting her footing in this new universe that she's dropped herself into, and now we're getting into her using her powers, which is where I really wanted this series to go. For those unaware, her powers are just that she knows pretty much everyone's secrets in the Marvel Universe because she's a character from our world, where the Marvel Universe is fictional and it's comic books, and she's read all the comics. She's a comic book nerd in the Marvel Universe. So she breaks the fourth wall and she, like, knows that Jane Foster is Thor and all that stuff. The writing is just super snappy and engaging. I'm having a lot of fun just reading this book. Like, all the panels, I'm happy. The emotion is happening, and it's great. I guess my one complaint here is that the artist changed. I would liken it to how Silk went from Stacey Lee to Tana Ford, It's still good art, I just prefer the original team, if that makes sense. I'm really glad this book is continuing past its first arc, and super excited to see who else Gwenpool gets to interact with in the Marvel Universe, which she knows everything about. So there you have it, folks, my reviews for this week. Let me know what you thought about the pulls that you picked up this week in the comments, and also, hey, let me know what you think about all this Season 3 stuff we got going on. Show with Issue Season 3 will premiere soon, along with Retcon Season 2, and another show that's coming up in October. Lots of fun stuff coming along. Stay tuned. And of course, as always, make sure to subscribe before you head out so you don't miss out on anything that I upload every other Wednesday and every Saturday. That all being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Honestly, we've come so far with this channel. I'm gonna get a little sappy here because we're starting a new season. We gotta do something special for the new season. You know, it's great. You guys are great. Next time I accidentally learn the identity of a superhero by just going on a bunch of subways, trial and error style, and just going, hey, I know your secret.